All right, everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to query your data with SQL. Now, why SQL? Well, manipulating data in memory via libraries such as pandas, working with CSV files, it's great for small data sets. However, in the age of big data, data scientists need to be able to work with larger data repos like relational data warehouses, Hadoop, Spark, cloud object storage, and so on. And SQL is really the language of relational databases, and because of SQL's ease of use, it's ubiquitous, right? It's everywhere. It is being increasingly adopted by other big data repos. Now, let's get into some SQL code so we can see how we can use this handy language for doing this. Okay, so let's take a look at this Jupyter notebook here. What I've done is I've written out some queries using SQL and using a library called Panda SQL. So here we're importing NumPy, pandas, typical stuff, and Panda SQL. From there we're importing SQLDF and load meet, which is just a way of loading up a database, right? And we're going to import warnings so that we can just ignore various warnings that might pop up. So let's start out by loading the meet data frame, which is very easy. We just say load meet. We're going to define a wrapper function so we don't have to keep typing globals into our query calls, which we'd have to do otherwise with this. Now let's take a look at the actual query. So how do we, let's say we want to just grab all the records from a table, okay? How do we do that? So we just say select star from meet, and I'm just going to impose an arbitrary limit on 5 here so I don't get all of them, and then I'm just going to print out the results, and it's showing us the results here. So we've got the top 5, and it's extending onto the other line because there are several columns here. But basically we can just see, okay, here's a date field, we've got some beef, we got some veals, some pork, lamb and mutton, etc., okay? So that's about as basic as you can get. Now what if we wanted to only get the date and beef fields? In that case, we would say select date and beef, date comma beef from meet, and as you can see we still have the date field, now we're just limiting the other columns to the beef field, and it just lists those out again with just an arbitrarily imposed limit of 5 so we don't see the whole thing. What if we wanted to just grab veal and say, okay, we want to see all the veal, but where the value is more than 200. Well, here we go. There's veal, and there's only 2 results that came from that query. How about veal greater than 75 and only after 1975? Well, then we could say select the date comma veal from meet where veal is greater than 75 and the date is greater than the last day of 1974. And as we can see, this is 1975. We got a date from July, September, and so on. And here are these values that are greater than 75. How about, let's get just pork records with more than 2100, or the date is before 1945. So this is going to be a little bit, we have looser criteria here, right? We're not saying both of these conditions need to be true. We can say if either of these conditions is true, show us the data for that record. And as you can see, we've got a before 1945 scenario here, but then these down here, these are not before 1945, but what do they have? Look at the values for pork. See how they're all greater than 2100? So that's how that works. And moving along, how about, let's get the beef records whose values between 680 and 700. Select beef from meat where beef between 680 and 700, right? Very English languagey. And we can look down here and see that yes, that is actually what's being returned. How do we get the total number of records? Well, we say select count asterisk from meat, put the asterisk in parentheses, and that gives us a total count of 827 meat records. And by using min, we can see what the minimum value is here. So if we say select min parentheses beef from meat, and the minimum value of beef apparently is 366. And what about the maximum? Select max beef from meat, and that's 2512. So folks, thanks for checking out this quick little intro to SQL. I just wanted to demonstrate two things. One is how you can use SQL to query a database, and secondly, just how we can actually do that from within a Python Jupyter notebook to do that. Okay, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.